Good afternoon, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nemeka Nyeka Odere. I titled this short clip, Following and Obeying the Simple Law of Demand and Supply. You do not need any instinct kind of knowledge or rocket science knowledge to be a good economist, or to be able to run an economy or manage an economy. I was just meditating and ruminating over some of the things that we practically observe annually, annual rituals, annual observations that will help any right-thinking government, any right-thinking leader, any right-thinking persons to be able to plan their lives, use their brain, and create value for themselves and for everybody. The good book said that the Lord God made the heavens and the earth. After he had made it, the last thing God created was man. And after God created mankind, God charged mankind with this commission. God charged mankind to go into the earth, to take care of the earth, have dominion, subdue it, replenish it, multiply, and God told man, just manage, administer. Now, what was it that I was just, thinking through, just trying to muse in my mind? Do you know that annually we have this annual ritual? I was just checking Airpeace flight tickets from January 20th now. Flight tickets from the east back to other parts of Nigeria will become so cheap. In fact, it's about 128,000 naira. This is a ticket that was almost 300,000, 400,000, 280,000 just 2-3 weeks ago. Why is this so? It's just simple law of demand and supply. Every one of us know that the most lucrative routes, transport route, whether by road, by air, or by rail, is the Lagos, Shagamu, or Ijebu-Ode, Ore, Benin, Asaba, Onitsha, Owerri, Port Harcourt, Aba, Umuahia, or Kigwe, Ebonyi. That is Afikpo, Abakaliki, or back to Enugu, to Awka, to Onitsha. We know that the most lucrative routes in terms of passenger traffic is this east-west corridor. And we know by researches that we have conducted that we have over 200, 300 million passenger traffic that plies that road every year. We have over 200 million tons cargo traffic that plies that route annually. So if you are to run the numbers with some of the cheapest, using the cheapest cargo per ton per mile cost, comparable from other parts of the world, you will see clearly there is a route that can generate nothing less than 1.5 to 2.5 billion dollars annually. Now we have this ritual that happens every year. Today, from Lagos between December 18th till now, transport costs from Lagos to Umuahia was about, one of my friends was so me about 58,000 naira, and it's a similar thing. But we know that these prices are driven because of the law of demand and supply. Because during this period, traffic moves from Lagos, from Abuja, from every part of the world to the east. It is the other way around. If, from January 1st, people start going back again, it reverses. So what this simply means is that for any right-thinking people, for any right-thinking government, what we'll be trying to do is how do we create transport infrastructure, supporting infrastructure, to ensure that we provide enough supply of means of movement to mitigate this high cost, which also impacts on cost of everything. And I will talk about it. Because there should be stability. If you go to every part of the world, you see clearly that there is a bit of stability in whatever price mechanism that they have. And that is why you see inflation, there's single-digit inflation. You see some countries, inflation is 1%, 2%, 4%, and it remains stable at that level for years, consistently. But in Nigeria, it's 27% today, next year is 50%, next week it is 100%. Because we don't think, we don't plan, we don't research. in this part of the world. Research and development has been our major. We have people who don't even know how to research, who don't know the importance of research and development. So, and that brings me again to this issue of developing a rail corridor within that axis. To do a rail corridor that links Lagos port to Port Harcourt port, that crisscrosses and links the major town in the southeast of Nigeria, the southwest and the south-south, will cost only about $5.2 billion. 817-kilometer corridor. And we've developed framework, strategic work plan on how these things can be executed under a private-public partnership arrangement, design, build, operate, and transfer, 45 years arrangement that will even help the investors to recoup their money within 7-8 years, payback period, good return, and we've devised the structures that will make it funding very, very easy. $1.2 billion equity financing, and the rest long-term 25-year borrowing. And these things are not like rocket science. It's the same thing that applies in every other area. Annually, Nigeria loses over 3.5 trillion naira to post-harvest losses of agricultural goods that are supposed to actually be in the market, are supposed to be processed or preserved or stored. To put in place the storage facilities to enhance distribution in such a way that we will not have such losses will just entail us building storage facilities in every of the littoral world. Storage facilities in terms of organic chillers, in terms of dryers, in terms of silos. And these things can actually be done through private-public partnership agreement. We've developed a framework, a workbook on how these things can be done under our unique missions, community, diaspora, private-public partnership framework. The same thing applies. We need about 25,000 distribution chillers across Nigeria. We've developed schemes on how these things can be done. We know also agriculture, the way it is done in other climes like South Africa, like Netherlands, like Israel, is not the way it is done in Nigeria. We are still doing peasant farming. We are doing agriculture in the illiterate format and fashion. We know everybody. In fact, in most countries, just like one of my friends, Kelechi Deka, pointed out, in most countries that are domestic food self-sufficient and that are even some of the biggest exporters of agricultural products, only about 5 to 10% of their population are into agric. Because agric requires technology, it requires high tech, it requires you have to mechanize it. We've developed. See, Netherlands has tractor population of about 350 tractors per every 100 square kilometers. It's even less than what we have in areas like Estonia and other places that are deep into agriculture. Nigeria today, our tractor population is less than 45,000. Most of them are even moribund. Nigeria needs a tractor population of not less than 300 to 500,000. 800,000 to be precise. We're not even asking for the Ferguson mega tractors. We've developed a framework, a PPP framework, that can enable us to have mechanized agri-tech equipment and infrastructure in every of the electoral wards in Nigeria in such a way that government does not even need to put in a kobo from their physical revenue. But these guys are not listening. We've developed a framework that can enable us under the same missions, community, diaspora, private-public partnership arrangement to have agro clusters in most of the 8 or 9 electoral wards in Nigeria in such a very scientific format that many of us don't need to be into agriculture, but we will have dedicated structured arrangement that will create so much wealth in such a way that we'll have over $250 to $370 billion revenue from the agro value chain. We will have over 20 to 30 million jobs created annually. See, it's same thing with education. The top 10, 20 most industrialized countries in the whole world, the top 10 safest countries in the world are countries that have literacy level of 98% and above. Go and check. Singapore and China became what they are today because they first of all have to drive literacy from 57, 62% to 98%, 97% respectively today. And how do you drive education? Make it compulsory, amend the constitution, amend relevant laws, make it compulsory. Every earnings and borrowings in Nigeria must be invested 25% in education, minimum UNESCO standard. And now, pay those who education practitioners very, very well. Do you know that in developed economies in the West, Medical professionals and those who teach actually earn the best revenue, the best salaries, and all other things. Those that are into tech, those that are into engineering, artisans, plumbers, they earn more. So how do you, if you want to drive education in Nigeria, what do? You invest more in education. You pay well for those who are in that sector. If today minimum wage in the education sector is 250,000, if today in the medical sector, minimum wages for medical professionals are 500 naira a month, I bet you the smartest of Nigerians will now begin to go into education. The smartest of Nigerians, the most intelligent, will now begin to go into basic sciences. You will see them abandoning all these things we call, abandoning most of these things that we pursue. You will see most people, the smartest, the brightest of Nigerians will start going into education. They will start moving. And then you will now see quality coming into that place. In fact, go to the developed economies today, the most industrialized economies. The smartest of them goes into pure sciences, STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. The second tier in terms of intelligence goes into applied sciences, medicine, and the pharmacy, and all the rest of them. It's only in Nigeria where the brightest goes into applied sciences and begin to produce like a law, accountancy, and all those ones. See, let me tell you, they are not rubbish. But I'm telling you, if we want to make Nigeria a paradise within the next 10 years, we know what to do. Amend the laws, make it compulsory. 25% of every of our borrowings and revenues must be invested in education. 20% of every of our revenues and borrowings will go into health sector. Make it consider matter so nobody can bend it. Now, raise the revenue, salaries. Minimum wages in the education sector, both primary, second, university level, will be 300,000 naira minimum. Minimum salary and annual wages in the medical science, pharmacy, doctors, everything should be 500k minimum. Of course, it is nothing compared to what's obtainable in the West. It's a beginning point. When you do this, in the next 10 years, all of us will be shocked of the kind of revolution we'll have in Nigerian transformation. It's a very simple law of demand and supply. You don't need to be about Einstein to understand this thing. You don't need to be a professor of economics to understand some of these little logics. May God have mercy on us in Jesus' name. Amen. It is well.